folks, this is the Earthshine Nature Timber Rattlesnake report for May the 4th, 2012. And let's take a look and see where Utsanati and Zoe are today. Utsanati has traveled a very long way from the day 26 location, which I did not document on film, but I feel like this is a very interesting series of events that has taken place to lead Utsanati to this location. It seems that Utsanati is underneath these old pieces of metal here that are covered in blackberries. As you can see, they're blooming. Now, I haven't confirmed that he's under here, and I'm about to do that. I'm going to move the tin with a stick because I just want to confirm that he is here. It looks like a really good place for a rattlesnake to take shelter, to hunt, and so on. But I need to confirm that he is here, because the location that he's in right now is very interesting. Oh, there he is. Found him. See a coil right there. It's hard to see because that leaf is in the way. I need to move the leaf. Oh, there he is, coming out to see what's going on. I'm only 2 feet from this snake. He's sitting under this piece of tin, sheltering from the heat of the day. It's really hot right now, probably 83, 84 degrees, direct sun. I'm definitely not very comfortable wearing my snake chaps, but he is in contact with the cool ground. He's got a warm piece of metal above him, so he's charged and ready to go. And I'm sure he's hunting. This area is full of blackberry brambles, multiflora rose, piles of old lumber. What makes this interesting to me is that this is Utsanati's discovery location. He's only about 30 feet from where I found him, under a piece of tin, just like this. So he came back. Now that in itself is not unusual, because rattlesnakes, like box turtles, are creatures of habit. They follow very similar patterns year after year. And of course, for that reason, it's not a good idea to move them from one place to another, because they do not adapt well to being relocated. What's interesting to me is that many years ago, I spoke with a rattlesnake researcher, and he had told me about a circumstance where he had a rattlesnake that was captured in one location near a high use area where lots of people had been traveling, and I think it was a campground, if I'm not mistaken. And he captured that rattlesnake and planted a transmitter in its belly and then released it in the same location. Well, the snake would come back year after year to that spot, but it would avoid the spot of capture because it seemed to remember being captured. Now, of course, we know that animals do have a memory, and they can remember. And I'm not saying that Utsanati doesn't remember being captured here, but he's here. He's not avoiding this spot. Now, is the draw of rodents just too great that he just can't pass up an easy meal? Because definitely he will get an easy meal in this location, because where he is, there's a lot of available food here. So I don't know. It's very interesting. And so again, this is why we're following him, to find out what's he going to do, where is he going to go. This is really good scientific information that we're documenting here at Earthshine. Beautiful snake. So I'm going to leave him be. And come back in a week or so and see if he's still here. Maybe not even that long. I may come back in 2 or 3 days. Do you see Utsanati? There he is, right in the middle of the frame. It's Utsanati's treks, day 28. And he has moved about 200 feet in about 24 hours. He's sitting down here at the edge of the forest in an area of, well, it's an old rock pile created when these fields were built. When they cut the trees, the common practice when you would, first build a agricultural field, clear it, you would remove the trees and then you would remove the rocks. And in this area, you would pile the rocks along the edge of the field, right at the edge of the forest. That's how it's done in this part of the world. Well, that practice, of course, creates excellent habitat for snakes and other reptiles, and of course, rodents as well. So it's a great wildlife habitat, and that also, not only does it produce habitat for the rodents, which would want to eat your corn and other crops, but it also creates a great place for snakes to hunt, which would then limit those rodents and hopefully create more of a balance in the ecosystem around your field. Look at Utsanati sitting there with his head on that stick. That looks like a hunting posture to me. That way, if a rodent jumps onto the stick at either end, he can instantly feel the vibration. Like let's say a mouse jumped onto the stick up there and started running down the stick, he could get ready to strike and then have a meal. It looks to me like he still has not shed his skin from when he came out of hibernation. You can see the mud. There's still some dirt on his scales. At least that's what it looks like to me. All right, let's go check on Zoe and see what she's up to. Well, Zoe has done some serious moving. She's moved about 0.29 miles to the southeast of her day 21 location. It's day 22, and here she is. And she is once again sitting in a brush pile, very similar to the one that she was in a few days ago. You can see several old logs where someone has cut a tree that maybe fell across the trail, tossed them off the side of this trail that she's on, and provided excellent habitat for this rattlesnake and many other wildlife and many other species of wildlife. Let's see how close we can get a good close-up of her. I'd like to be able to see if I can see her incision, but can't see enough of her body, and I don't want to get any closer because I'll disturb her. I'm sure she knows I'm here. I'm probably about 10 feet away. At first I thought this would be what I would call a hunting posture, but there's a leaf directly in front of her head. so she can't really see or sense what's in front of her. So I would think this is more of a resting coil, and maybe tonight she'll come out and forage along through the these logs, trying to find the scent of a mouse trail, and then she'll set up there and wait in the typical timber rattlesnake ambush style until some type of little beady-eyed fuzzy comes along that she can ingest and help us out by eating rodents. Now, just how close is she to the trail? Well, take a look at this. One step, two step, I'm on the trail. So, if you were walking down the trail and you just happen to glance to the right, you might be able to see her there. But most people would miss her because she's camouflaged. And unless you knew exactly where to look, you wouldn't see her. How close is she to a residence? If I turn to my left and look up through the trees, there is a chimney sticking up through the trees right there. If this is your chimney, I would not be too concerned with Zoe, because she's down here in the forest doing her own thing. And unless you have dogs or small children who might go scampering about in the forest without your guidance, that might, you know, then I don't think there's anything you really need to worry about. When you're walking the trail, just stay on the trail and, you know, be vigilant. Watch. There are other creatures here that we share this planet with, and they deserve our respect. So give them space. So I'll leave you with Zoe.
I wish I could have stayed, I wish I could have changed, but a rambling man is a rambling man by any other name, by any other name. Well,